an opportunity here. Of course, the winners this year, Krejcikova and Siniakova of the women's doubles title, won the girls title here in 2013, so things could be good. It will be Wang Xiyu to get us underway. So they clearly elected to serve first, and having seen the stats and well, they backed up their serve, you can perhaps understand that. When you come into these big matches like this, Liz, what are you generally thinking at the start?
Well, you're thinking that you want to get off to a good start. Obviously, get a high percentage of first serves in. These girls know each other's games pretty well, so they've come up with a game plan to target the weaknesses. Ooh, lucky there. McNally slipped as she tried to attempt to go back to that, but good hands from Osuigwe to reflex that quick one up at the net.
You mentioned they know each other's games very well. McNally defeated both the sisters in recent weeks, one at the French Open, the other at Roehampton in singles, so you all know both of their games well. I say sisters. They're not sisters. Both the players with the name Wang. That's what I meant to say. Easy to confuse them as sisters, isn't it? The caps. Clinical.
Yeah, she's active at the net.
14-15.
That's the net person's job, is to try and help out the server, particularly if they can get a first serve in. It really does make her job just a little bit easier.
It's about the importance of getting off to a good start, and that was a nice, solid hold.
First game
from Wang Xiyu. And here's the Chinese pair who take the first game of this girls' doubles final.
Yeah, it's all about teamwork and partnership and having great communication and going through the ups and the downs and coming up with a strategy. And normally you spend quite a bit of time with your doubles partner. You obviously warm up with them and probably practice with them a bit. You probably eat the occasional meal with them. So it's always helpful if you actually like each other. It's not a prerequisite, but it is helpful.
And these two players in the picture just then been playing together since the ages of 11. But actually haven't played much together this year.
15-11.
Played together last year, reached the semi-finals of Roehampton and second round of Wimbledon. How much of a factor was that for you, Liz, in terms of when you selected your doubles partners? Did you always feel you had to get on with them?
No, you don't select a doubles partner on that. You select a doubles partner on how they're going to complement your game and how you think you're going to work together as a unit. I always did get along with them most of the time.
40-11.
I think it's important to have the same mindset when you play doubles. Both like to be attacking, both like to be at the net. Or if there's other ways, obviously, to be similar or to complement each other, but a lot is involved.
Oh, it's quality overhead.
A lot of power here from the Chinese pair, and there's the overhead that was put away. Osuigwe covered the one before that, but just too much court to cover the second one.
Interesting what you were saying. Some commentary with Lou Clemming the other day, and she said
40-30.
often her partners were a little more stable because she was quite unpredictable on the court. She liked playing with someone who maybe just complemented that.
Well, she was a little bit more careful on that first volley, wasn't she, McNally?
One game
made
all
sure of
first
it.
set.
And the second seeds are able to hold serve in their first service game. And that will well, be a nice release for all of the players that are on the board.
It's Wang,
They
Xinyu
have some
serve.
nerves for this final. It's a rocket of a return.
Struck beautifully, this backhand, flat and hard, good knee bend there on the return, but just couldn't handle the pace of shot really from Osuigwe.
Love 30.
So it is roasting hot again today, so the balls will be flying.
Love 40.
It's always a good indication when a ball comes straight at a player, what side they take it on, a forehand or a backhand, which is their favourite side. A lot of players there would have taken that on the forehand, but Osuigwe, she obviously likes the backhand, and she went out of her way to hit that tremendous return. A couple of break points. One
15,
saved.
40.
Yeah, my notes on Osuigwe prefers the backhand.
It was clear from that last return, wasn't it? Yeah, that's a good change up.
Smart, clearly, from Xinyu. Maybe she noticed the return and it's hitting the slider out wide.
It's always a good indication of these young players, how they can vary and change something that's not working. Do they have options?
So 3 break points come and go.
Yes.
3 big first serves there. That's why their winning conversion was in over 80%, wasn't it, on their first serves?
Interesting that Xinyu had the opportunity to come forward to the net there, but just decided to hang back on the baseline. Oh, it's another brilliant serve. Got to credit Xinyu there. Was in trouble.
This one leads two
Able
games
to
to
serve
one.
her way out of trouble. It is the top seeds who lead 2-1.
Yeah, she has nice service action, doesn't she, Xinyu? And to be able to produce some excellent serves. She was down love 40 in that game, so it's a good weapon for her, particularly on a grass court. She's got good variety. She's got the wide one that goes out to the first court. Both these girls are pretty tall, aren't they? They've got good height, so you get good extension through the ball when you reach up and hit down into the court.
Yeah, these two, in terms of McNally and Osuigwe, so they've played together for a year and a half now.
Done.
They've met each other a lot of times on the singles court as well.
Miss Caty McNally to serve.
Good work. Good look from the volley for Osuigwe. That was on the second serve. She's got nice form on that. The racket head's up high, the wrist is firm. It wasn't an easy volley, the first one. Oh, well, you heard McNally say let it go. Osuigwe was committed, wasn't she? And just that ball would have gone out.
We've all had those moments.
It was almost like once she had committed, it was just all or nothing, Osuigwe.
That's E15.
You're talking about Xinyu or the fact that both of these players have the forehand down the tee. Xinyu is another player who prefers the backhand. And moved around it on that occasion. So just wonder whether that's one of the reasons that the cross-court backhand may feel more comfortable on.
Game is McNally.
Done from McNally. So all four players have been able to hold serve and
2 games all.
expected this one to be tight. And the early signs are that it is going to be very tough to call who's going to come through this final.
She does well at the net, doesn't she, Xinyu? She's always looking for the opportunity. She did a good job in the first game of this match. That's a good instinct that she has up there. You know, sometimes she may not make them all, and sometimes they may go down the line, but you still have to keep playing like that. That's the way you learn how to get better. Now, even though winning is important in juniors and with rankings and points and whatever, you know, the most important thing is that your game is being prepared to play professional tennis. And you're going to make your mistakes along the way in juniors. It's important to be working on the arsenal that you'll need for pro tennis.
Oh yes, dissects the two Americans. And it is the top seeds who hold serve once again.
3 games to 2. That's it.
Good tennis here by all these young ladies, knowing what to cover, and this one just terrific movement. McNally just didn't quite get enough on the high backhand volley, and the fact that the lefty playing on that second court was able to just whip behind that forehand. But the girls knew what to cover in that point, which is always good to look for. Like they're having a good time, don't they?
Yeah, they look very relaxed and calm together. You mentioned about the transition to the senior circuit. What in particular do you tend to look for?
You need to have weapons. You know, I don't care if you're playing men's tennis or women's tennis. It's important. You've got to have something that the person down the other end is going to have a hard time with. Whether it's a big shot, whether it's your mobility around the court, whether it's your tennis brain. You've got to have a few things, and it helps if you've got a few things, but you really do need something that can win you points. And you mightn't always get it right at this level, but you know, you've got to have faith that if you keep working hard and practicing what it is that you need to practice, that you'll get better. And yeah, see, just moving a little bit too early there.
15 love.
You know, so when the ball's pulled wide, you know, you can't give away the line like that. You know, because Osuigwe, the easier shot for her is to hit up the line.
Oh, I saw the move.
So I'm sure all these girls, you know, they've got lots of advisors, they've got coaches, and you know, and you would hope to think that they would all be of the same mindset, that you know, it's not the most important thing that you're number one now, but that you're prepared for the pros.
Yeah, talking of number one, Whitney Osuigwe is top-ranked junior in the world. But yeah, no, I've been talking to coaches as well, and obviously now the collegiate system in place in America, they say if you're developing a little late, then that's not a bad route to take in terms of if you're not quite ready now. And if you see what happened to Anderson and Isner, do you agree with that?
Well, I think you've got to do it on a case-by-case basis. I think everybody's different, everyone develops differently.
But in terms of if you are a late developer, if you aren't quite ready for the pro circuit, it's not a bad option to keep learning.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, the player knows, or the coach would know. The idea is to make sure you have the right people helping you, or the right coach. Because if you go to a university, and you know that mightn't be the right way for you to go if the coach isn't right for you.
Just a beautifully played point from Xiyu. Getting herself forward, and it was another sound volley.
Well, she didn't hit the approach too hard, did she? Just nice and firmly, so she had good position once she got to the volley.
Let's
break point.
Maybe just moved a little too early and ended up getting tangled, McNally. And it is the top seeds who break first in this final. Open up a 4-2 lead.
She overran the ball, didn't she, McNally? She was so keen to try and help her partner to cross at the net. She just got a bit tangled and ending up having to hit a very awkward volley.
So at the moment, it is the Chinese pair just winning the big points.
15 love.
Down love 40 in Xingyu's first service game. They were down 30 love in the Osuigwe's service game there, yet they've won both of those games.
Amazing a difference a first serve can make. I know we talk about it quite a bit, but you know, we've got a good first serve here. The second one was really short and very soft at 68 miles an hour, and that allowed McNally the opportunity to hit it and come in, and all of a sudden the server goes to being under pressure.
Yeah, that's smart serving, isn't it?
30-15.
Just took a little bit off that serve.
Well, most of the traffic's going to the Osuigwe forehand, isn't it? On that first court, anyway.
Oh, that is sweet as a nut.
We're trying the same approach again, McNally. This is the return. She's a long way inside the baseline, but look how well struck that backhand is. Stayed low.
Yeah, my friend Nick Brown described her backhand as a rocket booster. And that was one there.
Game. It's one with one.
It's not a bad serve either, is it?
Balls, please.
As they back up the break. So top seeds. So far, so good for them. They lead 5-2 in this opening set. do you make of Asian tennis, so to speak, Liz? Because, of course, you have the success of Li Na, and then I think many were expecting there to be a wave of players to perhaps dominate and reach the very top of the game, but hasn't quite happened. But they've put a lot of money into it. They've just signed a big deal in Shenzhen to have the WTA finals there for the next 10 years in 2019.
Well, I think originally, particularly, you know, the Chinese, they got interested in tennis when it was admitted into the Olympic Games. So in LA in '84, it's a demonstration sport. In Seoul in '88, it was a full medal sport. And we sort of started seeing, they were mainly doubles players that came out in the early days. And then, of course, Li Na has just had a huge impact. We don't have male Chinese players, which I find quite interesting. We've got all these great females. But, obviously, it's going to take a while for tennis to explode, and I'm sure, you know, the championships and you know, Li Na being a Grand Slam champion, it all takes a little bit of time, doesn't it? But it's only going to get better and better.
Yeah, they've certainly targeted women's tennis more. Beijing, a Premier mandatory event. Wuhan's a Premier 5. So 2 very big tournaments in China. As I say, Shenzhen as well now added to the list.
First serve just when she needed it, McNally. Was love 30. Really need to focus on holding this game. You may not win the set, but if you make your opponent serve the set out, then you have the opportunity to start serving in the second set.
And also just stem the momentum, because it is the Chinese pair who've won the last 3 games, and
15-40.
Now they have 2 points to win a 4th straight game and take the set.
She took all the pace off that first serve, McNally, and just gave the returner plenty of opportunities to be aggressive.
I think we're seeing why, though. We have the left-handed player on the right side and vice versa. Both so comfortable off the backhand wing. Still a set point.
Let's press up.
Fortunate with the return, but Wang and Wang will take it. Not a lot fortunate about the set. Full of quality from the top seeds. And it is the Chinese pair who has taken the opener here by 6 games to 2 in 23 minutes.
They didn't do too much wrong, did they, in that particular set? Good serving, terrific returning. You know, trying to help each other out at the net, knowing what to cover, all those good basics, and that is the reason why you've got all those dark numbers on the left. 82% first serves in, and when they go in, they win 83% of the time. And conversely, on the other side, it goes to show how well the Chinese pair are returning. Just 13% winning off the second serve. That is just a killer if you're trying to hold serve.
Clinical with their chances too, 2 from 3 break points, whereas the Americans weren't able to take advantage of the 3 that they had early in that set.
She came out with big serves though, didn't she? You know, I mean, I think it was she got every first serve in from that point where she was down.
Yeah, the points were certainly taken away from the American pair rather than them losing them.
Wang Xinyu, Xiyu to serve.
So it will be Xiyu once again to start us off in set 2.
swing serve right at the body. It's always tough to get out of the way of that one. Just give yourself some room to make the swing, because it follows you as a right-hander if you want to hit the forehand.
Oh, well, it'll work.
30-11.
Yes, even the mishits count, and that was a mishit, the first one, and that one wasn't really struck all that well either, but good enough to win the point.
Oh,
great depth.
Everything going for them right now, isn't it? The mishits are flying in, and they're finding the lines too. So just in contrast, the body language from the Chinese pair compared to the American pair.
Game, it's Wang, it's Wang.
And the one-way traffic continues. That's a fifth straight game for Wang and Wang.
I can't agree with you more, Pete, in regard to the body language. Osuigwe just almost looked a little bit disinterested in that last game. You really have to find a way to compete and to try a different method of winning points. You know, still chatting, which is good, trying to come up with something different.
I suppose this is where, you know, we talked about in the first set, getting on with your partner. I know you said it wasn't so significant, but I suppose in these moments, if you can understand someone's personality, you can
helpful,
tee them up a bit, can't you?
But it's not mandatory, but it's helpful, isn't it? Oh, nice touch. Not an easy volley to hit that one. She was behind service line, McNally.
15 love.
Didn't have much pace on it by the time she got to it, and had to open the racket face and found the gap, dropped it short. Well played. Oh, she went for it, didn't she? McNally had moved to the middle, and Xinyu just saw all that space down the line and just was unable to drag it back into the court, but good idea.
Talking about body language, Liz, by the way, I was on this court yesterday, and you've got a player, by you, I mean the Aussies, Rinky Hijikata. He's a Leighton Hewitt in the making. Such positivity on court. They lost the doubles, Hijikata and Tajima, in the semis in the boys. Although
Osuigwe, she's got maybe a little bit of dust or grass or something in her eye.
There you go, that's teamwork.
It is teamwork.
Of course, it has been incredibly dry, and you can see the courts here are very dry, so maybe a fly or something. Just hit one first serve though, so it's going to have to be a second serve.
Well, if you can't see, it's never helpful. Maybe some eye drops, or just rinse the eye if that's possible.
Blown into her eye. That's not her fault. It's for the delay.
So I think she's going to get a first serve here, because the umpire just explaining there that it's not her fault. So because of that, if there's a delay between the first and the second serve, if there's a certain amount of time between those two serves, then you will get a first serve again. Obviously, this is something that Osuigwe couldn't help. Chinese pair accepting in the umpire's call. Took advantage of the first serve, jamming up her opponent. Still seemingly having some issues with the right eye, but stops the rot. First game in 6 for the American team.
15 love.
Well, the ball was travelling too quickly for Osuigwe to actually hit down into the court with the first volley, and that gave the opponents an opportunity to intercept. It's hard to cross, you know, when a ball is going that quickly and that flat. It's hard to cross and actually hit down into the court with the volley.
Players are also very close and tight to the net, aren't they? Just another reason why we've seen a few mishits just find their way over, because if you're right on top of the net, there's not a lot you can do, as you say. You're that tight in. Oh, and that lands right on the line. What a lob that is from Wang Xinyu.
Oh, Osuigwe, she can't believe that actually landed in, because in mid-flight it looked like it was going to go miles out. Look, she almost sort of gives up here, and then by the time she realises that it's in, of course it's too late, because then it hits and just goes.
Flowers in full bloom. Mentioned earlier about...
I thought you were going to tell me what kind of flowers they were.
Oh, God, no. I can tell you what colour, just about, maybe. They look purple and red. But that's about it. What about you? You know these? Come on,
you some of them are
petunias,
but I actually don't know. See, I shouldn't have done that, should I? I'm going to take a stab and say they're petunias. I could be wrong. I probably am. But they're beautiful, aren't they?
They are, yeah. And it adds, doesn't it, to just the grounds here at Wimbledon. It's like nowhere else, isn't it? Such a special championships.
Right. Nowhere else.
Although the courts aren't quite as green now as they were
what do you expect? They've had
tournament.
2.5 weeks of play. Remember, the players started practicing on them the Wednesday before the championships, because of course that's what grass courts need. They need a little bit of wear just to make them a little bit firm. So I'm sure there's always a fine line between having them just right.
Well, I'll tell you what they have done well this year, because I remember last year we had similar weather in terms of it was constantly hot and barely a cloud in the sky, and there were a few complaints last year about the courts becoming too slippy because they were overworn. Whereas now, this year, we haven't had any of those complaints, which is good. So they've got the courts just right.
They don't get too many things wrong here at the All England Club. Or if they get them wrong, they fix them quickly.
Yes, exactly like last year to this year.
That's 15.
No holding back on that return. It's okay, just confirmation from her partner that it's all right, don't worry about it. It was a good hit, we'll get the next one.
Yeah, I've got to say, I love what you're seeing from Wang. Just how cool and calm they look. Same wavelength.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you please keep your voices down when the players are about to serve? Thank you.
I think McNally just saying someone was on their phone there.
40-30.
It's a tough shot to try and make. Change the direction, go up the line.
Let's just see with Wang Xinyu, though, she is happy crunching that backhand time and time again from the back of the court. Xiyu, incidentally, likes to play the violin. And she's stringing some nice points together.
Nicely done.
But yeah, said actually she wanted to bring the violin, but said it was too big. But they've got another break point here, the Chinese pair.
Gee, that's a well-played point. McNally was under all sorts of pressure.
You've got to say, Xiyu there, just her reactions to react to the net cord was just phenomenal.
Well, you talked about the fact that, you know, they're so close to the net, and the only reason that ball went over was because she was so close to the net.
But again, how well they complemented each other. I mean, Xiyu got that ball back in play, and then Xinyu just took over. And they get the first break of the second set.
Love the team.
Again, there's the reassurance. Missed volley, but Xiyu still positive with her body language to her partner.
Fifteen all.
Be a nice feeling. He missed her last backhand volley.
She's done a good job at the net, though, hasn't she, Xinyu? She's been looking for the ball. She's hit a lot of good angles off high volleys.
And there's the movement.
40-15.
Yeah, once again, you're not going to make all of these, are you? But got to give yourself an opportunity to put pressure on your opponent. And look, she won that point. Did she hit the volley perfectly? No, but she was rewarded.
Game, it's 1-1.
Back up the break. Another quality service game from Xiyu. Looking good here, aren't they, the top seeds, as I say. Not dropped more than 4 games in a set all tournament. Looks like that could well continue in the final. Up 4-1 now, second set.
Yeah. Yeah, they do complement each other very nicely. And I guess it's no surprise. I don't know how the system works, you know, how they pick doubles partners in China, but I would venture to say that a lot goes into who plays with whom.
Well, it's been a strange one because these two have known each other and played tennis together since the ages of 11 or 12, but haven't actually played much this year. They've been switching partners.
Or maybe they're trying to find the best combination out of the pool of players that they have, and they've come up with a pretty good one here.
And just how they've been with each other. Looks like they get on. Certainly look very comfortable as a team and very aware of what each of them are doing,
A bit too early from McNally. Xiyu, though, she saw that out of the corner of her eye and was good enough to whip it up the line. Haven't made too many mistakes, have they, the Chinese pair? They've served well. They've made a high percentage of returns. They've really put a lot of pressure on their opponents.
There is that cross-court backhand again, though.
And McNally, she was crossing on that one, but it was hit with such force and accuracy that she just couldn't get to it. So it's a very well played return.
It's so hard, the return.
15-14.
Too hot to handle for Osuigwe. And these are worrying times for the Americans as the Chinese pair look to break once again. Again, all about the return. Nearly missed the volley, Xinyu, but it catches the line.
Wang leads 5 games.
Surely there's no way back now for the second seeds. It's another break. And the top seeds now lead 5-1. And it will be Xinyu who will serve for the title.
It's seen the world might end, collapse around them, and they would still be there. And so ends a match beyond all our expectations. Anderson against
15-11.
And the late night would give us Act 1 of another drama. Two of those greats we know and want to see again and again. But as sure as night turns today, only one to go on. So in this world that turns, what now? Will it be something old, that's something familiar, or time for a change? Perhaps an upset.
30-11.
Well, every exchange is going the way of the top seeds. It really has been a dominant performance. And after just 43 minutes, the Chinese pair have 3 match points. That will do nicely. And it's rather apt. This match finishes with a winner. Stunning performance from Wang and Wang. They pick up the title, as they really have just dominated this Wimbledon Championships. It is Wang Xinyu and Wang Xiyu who are the girls' doubles champions 2018 at Wimbledon. They defeat the second seeds Caty McNally and Whitney Osuigwe 6-2, 6-1.
Terrific performance from those two ladies. They both got to the semi-final of the singles and have taken out the title in the doubles. Terrific weapons. They covered the court well. They took advantage of each other's good shots. high percentage of first serves in, tremendous returning. Their opponents really struggled to hold just because the quality of the returning was so high.
And even now, as they have done throughout, they just look so cool, calm and collected, like taking everything in their stride. Gotta love their temperament.
Yeah, they didn't give too much away, did they? And I think, you know, from the American side, I would have liked to have seen just a little bit more problem-solving skills. I think they were quite demoralised. But yeah, it's important to try and find a way to do something a little bit different. We saw, I think, one kick serve maybe in the whole match, and it won the point, and they never ever tried it again. You know, instead of serving wide, you know, maybe serve more at the body, more up the middle. But these girls, they certainly did a good job. But the Americans, you know, maybe I don't know what they think about this match, but it's all about problem solving and trying to do better the next time you come out to play. Second serve points won, just 35%.
First serves in at 77%. And they weren't exactly rolled in, were they, Liz? So time for the presentation.
This year's runner-up from the USA, Caty, McNally and Whitney, Osuigwe.
So the runners-up, Caty McNally and Whitney Osuigwe. Of course, Osuigwe is the junior world #1. McNally reached the quarterfinals in the singles. Didn't drop a set all the way to the final, but you have to say, were outplayed in the title matchup. They were runner-up last year as well as a pair, so it's the same again in 2018 for the Americans.
And now the 2018 Wimbledon champions, Xinyu Wang and Xiyu Wang from China.
It really was a sensational performance. Very worthy winners. I expect we may well be seeing more of these two players in the future. You never know, Liz, do you, in terms of what is around the corner and the transition to the women's game, but they've got a lot there to work with, these two.
Yes, that's true, you do never know, but it's all about weapons, and obviously there's a lot of work that still needs to be done in everyone's game when you're 16, 17 and 18. But certainly they were just too good today for their opponents.
So for Xinyu, that's the Wimbledon Championships doubles girls title to her Australian Open girls title. This is a first Grand Slam win for Xiyu. So this was how they did it. It was Xinyu with the serve and with the fiery forehand winner. We saw winners at the net, from the backhand, from the forehand and from the serve. Had a bit of everything. And this pair were mighty fine throughout. So it is Wang and Wang who are the girls doubles champions at Wimbledon 2018.